Start.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here in our Women's Council of Realtors Global Mastermind. And guess what? This is our last Zoom meeting for 2021. We started in July. We've had about 5 to 6 meetings. We've been very productive, and mainly it's been our ground stone for 2022. It's been my honor and my pleasure being your chair. I will stay here. I'm not going to leave you guys for the future to come. Welcome to everyone that's here online. The call is being recorded. And today I introduce to you our new Jackie. Jackie is from staff and she's here with us, helping us with our Zoom call. And again, like I was mentioning, today will be our last Zoom meeting for 2021. I hope to see you all live in San Diego for our first live Global Mastermind meeting. And now your co-chair, Denise Messia, will take over our meeting.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is having a really wonderful day. My name is Denise Macias, and I've been in real estate for over 10 years, and I am located in Boise, Idaho. And if you know where Idaho is located in the Rocky Mountain west of the United States. And yes, you probably have heard of Idaho because we're famous for our wonderful, delicious potatoes. And we're not just potatoes, we're also agro-tech. But anyways, that's a little bit about where I'm at. You know, when I was first approached to join the Women's Council of Realtors Global Mastermind Group and to help lead it, one of the biggest tasks I was given was to expand this group globally. And, you know, as we went through the meetings, I saw that there was topics of discussion that everybody was interested in knowing, but I really wanted to take it a step even further. I wanted to start at the basis. I wanted to break down apart the name first and then have a discussion with each and every one of you guys to really help us shape where our energy is going to go this year. So Women's Council of Realtors Global Mastermind Group. Women's Council of Realtors, let's break that first. Let us remember that Women's Council of Realtors exists because of the first 20 years of its existence, women were barred admission from any local associations, realtor associations. And some of the career benefits of this group have been equitable earnings, flexible schedule, support system, confidence, recognition. Now, the second piece, Global Mastermind Group. Global means relating to the whole world. And finally, at the foundation of all activities of Women's Council of Realtors through its 80 years of history is business opportunities. Its member finder feature includes a full profile, a bio, leadership experience, integration with member listings, and online referral platform. And the data supports the business success of its members. So as we come together today, the following questions is where we're going to be spending our time and energy this coming year. Asking the following questions will allow for you, the audience, to help us by helping us, sending us your contacts and resources that will help benefit this group. So as I start asking these questions, grab paper and pen, and you may want to be lining up your ideas and thoughts. And I really think that this is going to help not only just support what we're already here for, but also help expand globally. We're going to spend 5 minutes on each question. And from there, we'll come together and we'll resume. The very first question is, how do we, Women's Council of Realtors Global Mastermind, relate to the world? So how do we as a group make a difference to women across the world? And any participants that like to join at this time, please feel free to join in. It's a little quiet right now, but I know it's in you guys. Come on, this is.
Okay. Okay, it's me. It's Maria. Okay, from the car. So I would say sometimes across the world, I think women across the world just seeing that there are other women doing things in business would be encouraging to some people, because some cultures won't have that. Let's just be honest. Some people won't have that as a standard that women are even allowed. I mean, I don't want to talk about Afghanistan, but women aren't even allowed to do things. These are men's worlds. So I think just being able to show that women can handle business, can negotiate contracts, can pass title from one person to another in high numbers could be encouraging to some women who don't have that as a standard for their community.
That's very true. So seeing that other women are in business around the world is very inspiring to others. And that's how we can transpire through this group. Thank you, Renee. That's really wonderful. Anybody else have?
Sure, I'll jump in. So it's also literally Women's Council paving the way around the world. So as many of you know, Women's Council has been, especially in Florida, but US-wise, has been reaching out to Spain, has been reaching out to other countries. A lot of that I credit to Sandra, kind of starting that effort. You've also got our sister institute societies and councils like RRC, like REBI, all going global. So there is that effort on a national basis to become more global, whether it's NAR, whether it's Women's Council, etc. More memorandums of understanding, more ambassadors. We've changed the structure of our ambassadors over the last few years. If you look at global councils or global committees around the country, Florida Realtors, California Association of Realtors, largely those global committees have Women's Council members in them.
Very well. Thank you, guys. And I'm making notes as we do this because, you know, I really just wanted to take it down just to its foundation, because I said, I don't know if I can expand it up until I know what we really have here and what it means to us globally. And, you know, the thing is that I can line up speakers all day, every day for every day of this year, but I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that this group is the go-to group that brings value. And we have a topic that is niche to us. What I realized too is that there was other, there's an overlap for some of the groups that are out there. You know, there's other global mastermind groups, and I know that they have their relevant topics, but what I really wanted to was, what is for the women's realtor, you know, Women's Council of Realtors? What is our niche? What is the topic that we bring to the conversation? And that's really what I'm taking notes on, that this is really going to help us expand. So with that said, anybody else have? Yes, ma'am.
Really quick. And also what we're trying to get is, what do you guys want to get out of this global mastermind? What do you guys want to bring to the table? What do you want to see? Where do you want Women's Council to go globally? And that's going to help us take this to the next level.
Absolutely.
So Sandra, to that point, what I'd like to get out of this is, how do I expand my business to operate globally? You know, where are the opportunities and how do you pursue those opportunities? For example, I was on a call a couple days ago about Panama, and it's so enlightening to me. I have CIPS, but I didn't realize how available of an opportunity there is there. And the more I know about that, the better I can serve my customers.
So you could certainly benefit from knowing which are the countries that are kind of popular right now, or not necessarily popular, but they have an easier way of doing business and can really help you achieve your global goals. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, that's part of it. And to the first comment about, you know, learning the cultures and being able to bring them something. For example, in Panama, they don't have an NAR. Their process is quite different as far as the referral and how you have to operate. So if we don't know that going in, we're going to be at a detriment. So what can help us?
Okay, that's awesome.
Denise, you have a hands raised.
Yes, let's see, who do we have?
Viera.
I don't see who has it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, go for it. I'm like, I don't see the little
Thanks, Sandra. I think that, and Crystal just mentioned it, I believe that if we can share Zoom meetings from around the country that are about global, that will help all of us. I mean, most of our meetings, or especially the Panama one, came from my association. And I think providing this information to everyone, we have much more opportunities to learn from other associations global wise, and we just pick their brain and listen to them.
Yeah.
Pieta, do you mean recorded sessions that are already passed, or what exactly do you mean?
Both. For example, the Panama one was live on Facebook, and I sent the invitation to our group, and we will have another one about Italy, and I would have to look it up, another country. So there are these sessions everywhere in our country. We just have to share it as Women's Council to our group. So sometimes, for example, hey, I cannot make it today, but next week, maybe I can go and see it in California.
Yeah, you're right. This is what I've done, and this has been, and I'm sorry, Denise, with a different organization. Okay, I am also the global chair for RRC Florida. And it's a little different with them because they have a gentleman by the name of Fernando Garcia Trevi, which he handles everything in Europe and Central America. So what I did with him is we got Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Panama, Spain, and we've done an hour to 2 hour Zoom meetings where they explain how to buy in their country, how to finance in their country, what their referral amount is, attorneys in their country. And we have these people as panelists. So that way they share the contact in that country of realtors, lenders, attorney title company, and you get all that information. This is just an idea, Denise, how I did it, and we can piggyback afterwards. I can send you some of the recordings. We didn't record them all at the beginning because we were just learning as we went with them and the different countries, because you also have to take back the culture, the language. I do have an interpreter. He's not that expensive. So if you ever want to do something with a country, you can ask him how much, he'll charge, and we can take it from there. Just an idea for the group.
Got it. Okay. And, and again, I know that, some of the things that we discussed right now, I want to go dive deeper into, but I can send out a sheet afterwards, because, what I'm hearing from this question, some of the things that we're talking about now, they're really strategic with, how do we move forward. But as far as like how this group is going to make a difference to women across the world, I really like the idea, of inspiring other women. Now, how do we inspire them is the question to that. How do we really, get to see them that we are having success and that we are doing businesses? So that was the first question. The second question that I have is, what are some of the issues that women still face these days in real estate, nationwide and globally?
I'm sorry, repeat the question. I was answering a question in the chat. I'm so sorry.
Question is, what are some of the issues that women still face these days in real estate, nationwide and globally?
Well, there's some men, and I mean, everybody else here piggyback, there's still some cultures that men do not accept women to do business with.
Mm-hmm. So what about it, but in the US, let's start with the US first. And thank you so much, because I like the fact that we have a small group is really cohesive. And honestly, the whole point of a global mastermind group is to have a lot of interaction amongst us, so that when we leave here, we can talk about relevant topics and we can talk about a little bit more global, and we'll get into the global piece. But right now, I just kind of want to talk about what are some of the issues that maybe you're facing right now that you feel that is kind of, maybe handicapping you that we can help with.
I'll throw in some.
Go for it. Yes, Rory, do it, please.
So I've noticed, I do a lot of global real estate, and the problem from a US perspective, and especially for a woman in the US, is because of the other cultures. So there's a disadvantage in being a global practitioner as a woman, not necessarily within the United States, but as soon as you deal with these other cultures and you try to be involved in a transaction, I know that there's cultures that don't respect the woman as much as the man. And if there's an option, they don't want to talk to the woman, they want to talk to the man. And if you go together, I experienced, my wife works with me, and we've both been women's council members for almost 20 years. And even here, when we talk, and it doesn't have to be a global transaction, there is certain cultures in Florida or in the United States from another country that if we both are at a meeting and she's explaining everything, they keep looking at me, they keep wanting to talk to me, even though she may have more information than I do about a property or a situation. So there's still those problems within the United States because of the cultural aspects.
Very well, yes. And cultural, that also, that culture is huge. So I think that, having topics about culture and how culture helps you connect with other cultures around the world while doing business and real estate, that would really, really help us. Because you're right, especially I'm a part of a relocation team, and I don't know who I'm going to be working with. And I know that if I'm going to be working with a different culture, I definitely want to be prepared, especially, like we know Asian culture, the gesture of receiving the business card, you put it in your pocket, you already screwed it up. And so, just maybe bringing relevant topics that talk about, just different cultures around the world and how they conduct real estate transactions and how they connect with people. I personally, I'm a hugger, and I know that is definitely not permanent. That's not okay in some cultures. How do we offset that? And so that's kind of why I'm asking that question. So what else do you guys, know about that we could possibly also bring up a topic and, have, just that hour of power where we can talk about cultures, and we can do, even in a span of an hour, do 3 different cultures, 3 different experts, 3 different ways of connecting with people. And I think that can really help us.
So I think an opportunity may be ensuring that if we are working and are going to other locations, what safety precautions do we need to take?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, safety precautions are very important while traveling too, especially in countries where they have prayer hour. There's countries where, places like Malaysia, you don't cross a sidewalk when it says don't cross, and knowing those things when you're there, it's so important. Even, just little things that you learn while you're traveling that are so helpful. If you go to a Muslim country, there's an arrow in every sky and that points to Mecca. Those are things that are just important to know, that you can relate to other people and feel savvy. So I do appreciate that, Crystal. That's really important. Safety and culture, I think, are definitely 2 topics that can thoroughly be discussed and that can really help us, talk about some of the issues that are still happening, not just to women, but men as we see this. Rory is a part of this, and he's also, it's not just happening to the female that he's with, but it's also happening to him because there's an impact on what he's going through. All right. Anybody else have any further details for this one? And I want you guys to know that I base these questions off really what the core foundation of the Women Council of Realtors is. So equitable earnings, that really pertains to the question we discussed about. What are some, because equitable earnings actually was because commission is commission. And, women were getting paid less than men back in the day. And so just, the world has really shifted, and I feel that that's kind of manifesting in different ways. And that's where I feel like we can come together. We can alleviate some of that. We can help offset some of those things that are still happening. So question number 3 is, what keeps your working schedule flexible? Tips and ideas to help others, especially when it comes to travel agenda and how to travel without leaving your local business in shambles. That's really important, because Women's Council, it was known that, we have flexible schedule, we can raise a family, we can, we can have success. And I'm really interested in knowing what are some of the things that people do out there to really keep that flexibility. Because I know that there's weeks that I come where I'm like, I just don't even know what more to do. I don't know how many more hours in the day I could possibly have. And then on top of it all, I know that if I'm busy enough and I have to travel and I have to leave my home business, I kind of have to hold my breath a little bit, you know, and I do a really good job at juggling it all. But I know that if there's women out there that are doing the same, or there's men out there that are doing the same, what are some of the things that help you?
It's a good point, especially since we're talking about global. Woman or man, one of the things you have to be aware of is being flexible to the time zones and schedules of other countries, as well as the culture, because they do different things in different countries at different times of the day of their day than we do. So Sandra touched on it. Even for this meeting, she pointed out that for California, if we have a meeting Eastern time at 11, it's going to be kind of early for them. I've had it the other way around. I've had meetings start in California at 5 o'clock their time, 4 o'clock that, and then for us it would be like 8, 9 o'clock at night. So when you're dealing with anybody globally, you need to be aware of their time zone, because the first thing that's going to get them very upset is if you start trying to communicate with them, even by text or phone call, at what turns out to be 4 a.m. their time or 2 a.m. their time. Just be aware of that. And if you're going to deal globally, you've got to go outside your comfort zone of what are your normal hours to match theirs.
Got it. Yeah, that does bring a lot of sense of awareness to your own body, because I think that what comes with time zones is acclimation to your body. I know that, for us traveling, you're sleeping in a hotel, you're not getting the rest, you're eating plain food. And then on top of it all, you get there and, they're not even ready for you because you don't even know what the time zones or what kind of times they conduct business. So you're right. That is very important, is knowing, what's up ahead. What, when do they do business? What are their business hours? Because I know that in India, I was a little bit shocked. I mean, I know that they work from 11 all the way to 7, then at 7, then they go out. And I mean, by the time they were ready to go out, I was ready to go to bed. I was so tired. And so knowing what times they do business, just kind of helps you gauge yourself through the day, where you're like, I'm going to have to hang in there till 9 p.m. today. So thank you for that, Rory. I appreciate that. And let's see, Sharon, you've been a little quiet there. Anything you can add to the group? Let's see, we got Sharon. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning. No, all sounds good. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I missed your voice. And then Renee, you had your hand up for a second.
Oh, sorry for that. No, I think I was just agreeing with what Rory was saying about time zone. I do say that to go away, you have to have a great team of support. You have to have a wonderful TC. And it seems to be that every time you go away, you get more business. So I think that's always feels like the case, and being sensitive to that. I was just agreeing with what Rory's saying. So thank you.
Got it. So a great support team, and that, the flexibility to time zones. So bring awareness. Okay. Got it. I really like this, guys, because I really think that I can actually evolve from this. All right. So next question is, who just closed an international deal? Who are you? How much? Where? How long to close? And quick details of the property. And this goes along with the
Come on, Beata, you can do it. You can tell us.
Actually, I don't know if you saw that Crystal has her hand up.
Crystal, go for it.
Thanks, Beata. Actually, this was related to the last question, if you don't mind.
Of course, yeah.
I think one of the things that would help us with our scheduling, whether we're on the ground here or physically traveling somewhere, is what is our resource pool? Who are attorneys? Does the country use notaries? are there good travel agents out there that you have all worked with before that might help the rest of us? You know, instead of starting from square one, how can we leverage all of our joint resources so it makes it easier for us?
You know, that's very, very important because I know that, you know, so I started real estate about 10 years ago, and in between I had a full international career, and I was working with companies inside the United States and expanding them abroad. And there was always a protocol to action to that, Crystal. So you're very, very right. By the time that I actually landed in country, I already knew who I was meeting with, and it was actually decision makers, because you're right. When you hit the road and you hit the ground running, especially when it's abroad. So I'd love to be able to you know, talk to you a little bit more about, you know, local offices, the U.S. Embassy, U.S. Commercial Services, sister offices that you may have in your state, and, you know, resources that you could really pitch into so that when you actually do land, you have the help that you need in order to, number one, establish legitimacy, because that's what you're really looking for, establishing that legitimacy and working with people that really mirror your values and really mirror your business back home.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that, Crystal.
So I answer your question. I have 90% of my business is global.
Mm-hmm.
I have rarely an American, I have to admit. It's just because most of my people are reading my German newsletter, and I have learned that there are websites that can translate so much better than Google or some others. It is called, and I will put it in the chat, it's deeple.com, and this website can translate everything. So you can write in your language and translate into, I think, 27 languages. I have started to work with a lot of French people, and believe me, my French is really bad, even so that I had learned it, I think, 7 years in school. But they all believe that I'm fluent in French, even that I put in translated by deeple.com. But my transactions are always closing in time. But again, with French people now, we all have heard about the fraud that's going on in the States. They changed in Florida that French people now have to use the Virginian online notarization service, which means that only Virginian notaries can now, or at the moment, can notarize the signature and the person online. It's only Virginia, but I have heard that they are working on other states allowing them to do this too. Again, it helps us because we make sure that the client is who it is. I always believe that if a realtor gets a listing, the first thing that they have to do is get their email, get their phone number, put it in WhatsApp, and text this person. See if you receive an answer, and don't forget to ask for a passport. That are my 5 cents about what you have to do when you are global. And I think that if we share all our information and maybe bring it out to our state networks to work a little bit more global as well, and then even lower to the local networks, it will bring us much more attention global wise, because if you only have like what, 30, 50 members instead of maybe having 250 or even more, which makes our job much easier as well.
Got it. And you say you asked for a passport?
Always. Always a copy of the passport.
I always ask for a copy of their ID, their driver's license.
You know that most of the states in the world do not use the driver license as a ID because there's no address on it. Only the, so that's the way I do it. It's because the passport is higher than the driver license.
Yeah, very true. So with that question, when was your last global deal? Tell us about it. Tell us where you are. Tell us a little bit about what you sold and how long it took.
Rose, Peggy, Mary, come on, I want to hear your voices.
Most of my experience with the international is buyers.
Okay.
So I have had a couple listings before. I think I've told this group, and you all may not have been here, but the Houston Association of Realtors International Advisory Group, which is now the Global Advisory Group, we just renamed ourselves this year, came up with after about, I don't know how many years it took us, 5 or 6 years to do it, with the legal assistance of the Houston Association of Realtors and the Texas Real Estate Commission and MLS, we came up with a form that could be used to actually list property and put it on our MLS website. So I had a property after that came along in Brazil that I marketed, but mainly we here in Houston end up listing properties in conjunction with another agent in the country of origin. So in other words, they're the representative in their country, we're the representative in the United States, and we do it that way. Buyers, on the other hand, as you know, they come here, they're sort of on their own. They are the ones who are who have to do the due diligence and have to make sure that whatever it is they're buying and however they're financing it, et cetera, is their problem. So if they have a language barrier or anything like that, then they really bear the legal risk to make sure that they do find out what they need to know. And I speak Spanish, so that helps a little bit with respect to helping them find their way through the process. But the short answer is I deal mostly with buyers. That doesn't mean I wouldn't be interested in listing a property somewhere else that is, say, for example, owned by a foreigner that may live here, or owned by a US citizen in another country. That would be the most likely of scenarios for me. This was the case for the home for the farm, actually, an organic farm in Brazil. So
Wow.
I do, however, come across a number of Hispanic buyers from different countries, South America, Mexico. Also have worked with Chinese buyers who they do a lot of investment here in Houston. And I actually have one Italian client who lives in Italy. However, he has now sold his business here in the United States. So he's really divesting himself of his American properties. So I'm very interested in what is going on in other countries and especially what Americans are buying, or what the trends are, if you will. That really interests me a lot. I am also a CIPS designee, and I'm also a member of the International Committee of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. So it behooves me to know that kind of information. And I really like what you said about being able to present information, Sandra, about those different countries and what kinds of opportunities exist there.
So I heard a couple of things from you, Peggy, that I really, really like. And I think, would you benefit from being able to present your global listing to this group, where if you had an international listing, do you think that would be beneficial to you to have just, 5 to 10 minutes where you present it and you pitch it to everyone that joins?
For two reasons, I think that would be an amazing opportunity. I don't have that listing anymore, but for two reasons, I believe that would be an amazing opportunity. Number one, to be able to pitch it to people who do deal in the international real estate realm and could therefore critique my presentation, if you will, of the property. And of course, secondly, for the exposure. So yes, is the short answer for that.
Awesome. And then Peggy, to be honest with you, you're really a tremendous resource to a lot of us because you are doing something in Texas that we don't have in Idaho. I wish that I knew where to start the conversation with the MLS here. I wish that I knew, you know, because one of the things that I know that you've talked about before is how long it took you guys to achieve that. And I thought, well, I better have started yesterday. So, you know, if there's any time where you feel that maybe you could give us, you know, your 15 minutes of your time, you know, during these times where you can help us, hey, this is how you kickstart the process, or this is at least, you know, how we started it. That would really help us a lot because, you know, I wish that I could bring that to Idaho, but I just don't even know where to start. So I think you would be a tremendous source to a lot of us that don't have that.
Well, I would say to you that the first place we should start is that I should make a copy of it available to Sandra, who can then distribute it to everyone on the committee. Because then you can sort of look at the document and see how it's structured. And everybody's real estate laws are slightly different in every state, but certainly this document would be a good place to start with respect to, and I would imagine that most of you, as Sandra is and I am, are members of their association global advisory groups. So that would definitely be the first place to start, is to get yourself on that, or if your association does not have such a thing, to create that and spearhead that.
That's
So and then, you know, step 2 would be to sort of use this. HAR is the largest, certainly is the largest association in Texas. I don't know how they compare to the associations across the country, but we are enjoying a very successful MLS system here in Houston. People use har.com, which you all might want to go visit just to see what an incredible resource it is, over and above Zillow and some of these others, and the kind of information that is there for our listings. So we're very fortunate to have that. And you can see the area that we use to post our international listings there. You can actually go on and see our international listings. So getting familiar with how we're doing it, because we are a fairly impressive MLS and association here in Houston, I would think would really be helpful to any of you to spearhead the conversation and the project to get such a thing done for you. And eventually what we might find is that it will be something we will be able to do in all of our states. So
God willing. Peggy, go ahead and send me that, and that way staff will go ahead and send it to the entire group. Thank you so much. This is why I called on Peggy, because I knew she was be very resourceful. Denise,
Mary,
you had
Mary
Crystal's hand.
had her hand up for some time. Mary.
Okay, the reason I'm interested in this is because I've worked with international buyers, and I thought I would get some good tips. And in fact, I already did with this translation website. That's a really good tip. But I haven't attempted to buy or sell anything overseas. I am more interested in helping people buy here in the US. We have a big university in Madison, Wisconsin, and so visiting professors can use their stipend to buy a place, and then they can sell it when they're done and make a good profit. So that is why I'm interested in this group, and that would be an interesting aspect for me.
Okay, so tips to selling abroad. Okay.
So for selling to extra nationals here.
And Mary, never say no to money. If anyone ever tells you, I have a property in Ecuador, I have a property in Spain, and I want to sell it, I don't even know how to go, You can also contact me, or you can contact any other national associations, because I have a contact almost everywhere because of my global contacts, and they are paying a minimum of 25 to 30% referral commission. And in some countries, they even pay you 50% referral commission.
That's
Never
fantastic.
say no to money.
All right, you've got it.
All righty. And then Crystal, go for it.
I was just going to comment on what Peggy offered to share with us. And, you know, the mantra of Women's Council is to help members develop leadership skills. And I think that's exactly what we're doing here. We have an opportunity to position ourselves as leaders. And the more we can share, I think the more we can share with those behind us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my God, you guys are so awesome. Okay, so I feel that
Rose has a question, Denise.
Oh, go for it, Rose.
Sorry, I was not able to be live before, but anyway, here I am. I just wanted to say, you know, such great information. I also have my CIPS designation, and I belong to the global committee here at my board, and I'm always interested. I had a few things that one in England and something in Italy that I took. I got a referral fee actually. So I'm always interested in learning more. And it seems like this is the place to learn because you're all fabulous. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, Rose. That's what we're here for, you know. And at first I wasn't really sure, you know, what a mastermind group was, you know, and now I'm starting to really delve into it and really understanding, you know, that even just the smaller groups were making an impact, we're really changing lives. And that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm committed to. And I said, you know, I signed up as a vice chair, but I said, I really want to do my job and I want to do it well. I don't want to just keep throwing just different topics to try to fill in any blanks. I really want to bring substance to the table and I want to help us expand. And I think that part of that expansion is really coming through with all these answers that you guys are giving me. It gives me a foundation. The last question, we've actually gone through. I think that while answering all these 4 questions is really giving us answers to the very last question, which is, how can this mastermind group help you achieve confidence in your business dealings globally? That's really, you know, I've been hearing so many amazing answers that I think that really can give us that confidence that we need. We've talked a lot about culture today. We talked about timing. We talked about success. I think that, you know, just all those different answers that we gathered are really going to help us set up the different topics of conversation that can really give you that confidence to your business. Because that's what we want out of this group. We want you to walk out of this group knowing what you're up against. We want you to walk out of this group understanding what is happening in the world of real estate and what's important right now to us. And so setting up those segments where, you know, we can, you know, set up the hour and break it down into these different topics and cover at least, you know, as many as we can with quality. That's what we want in each one of these sessions.
Denise, for your planning of next year also, because of some of the stuff that I heard, remember we have AMPSI, and that's our sister organization in Europe, which they're stabled out of Spain. So let's say there's a specific country or a specific place that they might want to know, how do we refer a client? What is their commission split? We could always have a speaker and let them know you got 15 minutes and these are your questions that we want you to answer to our team. So if we want to do that, I will put you in contact with the national president in Europe for that organization. We can have a Zoom meeting and then you can plan out from there.
Yeah. Do we have any
And I can even invite her to one of these meetings if you want to.
I think that would definitely be awesome. Do we have any country experts in the group right now? Somebody?
Yeah.
Trisha, where do you specialize?
Canada. I lived and worked in Canada for 25 plus years. And when I first became a realtor, they said, work with your sphere. Well, I moved to Arizona not really knowing anybody. And then I sold my first $1 million home to a Canadian. And he said, well, you should come to Canada. And that was in 2008. So I am the past chair of the Scottsdale Association Global Committee. I serve on the NAR Global Business and Alliance Committee. And for 2 years, I did serve on the Canadian Association of Realtors Global Committee.
Wow.
And now Christine Wren from the Austin Association of Realtors, she's their staff liaison for global. She now is serving on the Canadian Real Estate Association. And I've done several presentations for realtors that have interest in understanding about Canada. The matter of fact, I flew to Orange County a couple of years ago, did a presentation, and I've done it for several associations, global associations throughout the United States. Just to understand the differences about Canada. It's so similar, but so different. And of course, Canada came out #1 as the international buyer in the United States on the last report that came out. I mean, just because of COVID, that doesn't surprise me, but I think going forward, there's tons of opportunities for Canadians buying in your area, as well as if they're in your area, a lot are also selling because the fear of the unknown. The border to Canada, you can drive into Canada, but the United States has not opened the border to Americans to go. Oh, let me reverse that. Okay, we can drive into Canada, but Canadians cannot drive into the United States. They can fly. The matter of fact, I just got back. I was there a week. And I'm just curious, I'm going to put it out there. In your communities, for people to get a COVID test to travel out of country, is there a fee? Because I was on a flight and I wanted to walk up and down the aisles and say, just so you know, you can get a free COVID PCR test to go back into Canada. Sandra, I see you shaking your head. I mean, people were paying $175, $250, and the people all around me when I was talking about it said, really? I paid $250. I mean, $250 times 2, that's $500. That's a lot of money when they can get it for free.
Yeah.
So sorry, but I would be glad to share that information with this group.
Trisha, all the European countries are charging the American people to come out of their country into ours with a test. Every single one of them. It's different fees, but every single one of them, because my cousin went to visit our cousins in Portugal, and there they were charging $150 a person.
Yeah, we paid $125 US to leave Canada, but people, when they leave here to go, they can get that PCR test for free. That's a lot of money. And I think that that's something, if we can help our fellow peers in that, like I said, I wanted to walk up and down the aisle and say, hey, everybody, when you return to Canada, you can get free COVID test. And by the way, if you want to sell your house, pick me.
Hey, there you go. Okay, Trisha,
that's great to know, because it would be really good to have a presentation about Canada and how the, referral commission and all that kind of good stuff. It's really good to know. Thank you.
Well, and that's something that I really pushed in a big way when I served on the Association Global Committee. A lot of realtors work with foreign nationals, and they should not. Like, I'm sure there are thousands, probably millions of dollars sitting at the IRS on the FERPTA withholding that people don't even know that they can get back.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
It's not just the experience, it's your resources you have as well as working with a foreign national, which is, in my opinion, equally as important.
Experience and resources.
How about you, Diana? How was your experience in your beautiful last travel that I saw those pictures?
I just came back from Germany actually like 2 days ago. And flying into Germany, I didn't need a COVID test. And for me, it's a little bit different. I am a US citizen, but I also kept my German citizenship. So I'm flying out as an American, come to Germany as a German, go out as a German, and come back to America as an American.
That's so cool, though.
Even that my German passport expired I believe 5 years ago. I can still use it.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
But
I-
however, in Germany, for example, there are different states as well. Bavaria was really strict. When I went into a restaurant, I needed to fill out a contact tracing form. I had to show them my COVID certifications, this little cards that we have in America. And funny thing is, everyone said, okay, fine. They didn't even know what it is really, because they look different in Europe. Flying back, I had to go and get a COVID test. Starting today, they charge 150,
down?
170 euros.
Oh my, you see what I mean? It's everywhere.
Now they charge too. Oh, and of course, I had to wear a mask everywhere.
Well, in Canada, they've started the passport by almost by every province. And if you have, and it's almost like a credit card with a QR code, you show that. If you want to go inside dining, any sporting event, concert, anything, you have to have that passport or you don't go.
Same in Germany, and actually they even have in Europe an app that it's called, I think, Luca or something. So everyone had to download it. And whenever you sit down on a table, you have to put it there, and this little QR code will put all the information into the tracking app. So whenever there was someone near you who would maybe contacted with someone who had COVID, you were contacted as well and would have to stay there forever. So of course, I did not use this app because I wanted to come home. But
Oh
funny
my
thing is that
God.
I got my COVID test on Monday, negative, and then I got my booster shot in Germany as well. So I have now triple protection.
Good job. Good
Well,
job.
it gives you that confidence, right? So I'm actually going to the ARIA conference in San Francisco next week, and you have to have and show your COVID vaccine. So I think it gives you that confidence that people around you have done everything they can to be safe. I mean, nothing is a for sure, but at least it gives you that sense.
Agreed. Awesome. And Trisha, thank you so much for sharing that. I really like what you said about experience and resources. That's really the balance right there. You're right. Absolutely. Because I know that there's a lot of my clients that have gone to other agents that tell them, nope, you'll never get a house. And they don't understand how it works for foreigners. They don't understand how the resources and they come to me, we get them a house and they're like, oh, so it's very neat that we can help each other that way. And ladies, I'm being very mindful of our time. If there's any last comments, please feel free to share them, but that's really our time. I am so grateful for all the answers that I got today. I promise you, I'm really going to get to work and start breaking a lot of this material apart and really start segmenting and planning for next year, because we got to rock and roll.
And we still have a few more minutes. If you guys on the line, for some of us, I mean, I know everybody, but for the ones that don't know you, if you want to put your contact information on the chat, since this is being recorded, that gets recorded as well. So in case anyone here might want to contact you personally, ask you any questions, pick your brain, anything like that, make sure you put your contact information in the chat so we know how to get a hold of you.
And we could also put it on the thread of the email.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Jackie.
So Sandra, I would love your takeaway from the C5 summit.
I didn't go.
Oh, I thought I saw you were there.
No, I didn't go. I am not vaccinated, so I'm not welcome in a lot of places, and that's okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Jackie, I know we do have an updated list. As soon as I get that from Peggy, I'll send it to you. Of course, double check with Jeff so we can go ahead and submit everything to our mastermind group.
Okay. Sounds good.
Anything else, team? Denise?
That's all, ladies. I think, I just spread the benefits of globalization, please.
Well, thank you, everyone. Have a fabulous weekend. Thank you for attending. We have a few minutes left if you guys want to say anything. And if not, I am hoping to see you on San Diego. I need hug and kisses, please.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
See you guys. Have a good day. Happy Friday.